Hello and welcome back to your South King County Real Estate Update. Today is Friday, the 18th of February. The year's flying right along, and we got a lot to cover today. So I'm going to jump right into those slides. My name is Sarah Eggleston with Stone Egg Realty at John L. Scott in Renton, and this is your South King County Real Estate Update for Friday the 18th. What happened this week? So there was a couple events that happened this week. The clients I've talked about the past couple weeks, they found the perfect property that they described. They wanted it. We scheduled a pre-inspection so that we didn't have to include the inspection in their contingency. And when we were talking about price, we kind of said, okay, well, we'll separate, come back later this evening and talk about how we're going to structure this offer. And they came back and said, well, we don't know anything about running an Airbnb. Maybe we got a little ahead of ourselves. So that fell through. They decided to hold off their search for a couple of years, understanding that interest rates are going up, that house prices are going up, that like all of the things. I made sure that they completely understood what was happening in the market before parting ways there. But that was a little bit of a bummer, but I totally get it. If you're not ready for something, you're not ready for something. But if you have something that you like this that you'd like to pursue, reach out to your real estate agent. I know of some resources that can help you prepare for a vacation rental. Airbnb has a really great database on how to be a good host for Airbnb. So there's a whole bunch of resources out there to help you succeed in whatever investment alley that you want to pursue. The other thing that happened this week was my husband and I gained possession of our home. We closed in September 8th on the home and have been doing the 203K renovation. So 203K loan is a type of loan that is a renovation loan. So you get to wrap those renovation costs into that 30-year fixed mortgage and make things a little bit more affordable. But the work is coming to an end. There's just a few things mostly on the outside of the house that need to be done. So we got to spend a couple nights there and are starting to unpack. So make sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to see the journey that I've been documenting the process and will continue to do so as we do projects and things around the house. So make sure to follow me for those updates. I'll jump back into the slides here. So it's been a while since we've talked about COVID. There's been very few updates. I think the last actual rule update was in August. But as of this week, they've announced that new rules will be taking place next month. With hospitalization rates dropping, improving vaccination rates, and broad access to masks and tests, the governor thinks we are headed into an area where we can lift some of the restrictions. So this is the infographic that is available on the governor's website. Still required, healthcare and medical facilities, you still need to wear a mask. In long-term care facilities, public transit, correctional facilities, and private businesses and local governments that want to require masks for their employees, customers, and residents. But it's no longer going to be required in schools, childcare facilities and libraries, restaurants and bars, houses of worship, and gyms and activity centers, and grocery stores, business retail establishments. You will no longer be required to wear a mask starting March 21st. So it's a little over a month from now. Private businesses still can choose to enforce it if they want to, but as far as the official requirements, we're a little over a month away from being able to walk around with our faces hanging out. And so local news, Sounders have decided to move to Renton. There's going to be a facility in Renton at the old Long Acres campus that the Sounders are going to move into. This comes after a whole bunch of news of Renton development, big companies moving to the area. So this is something that's really, it's going to be really good for home values in the area. There is a lot of stuff happening in the downtown Renton area. So this mixed use property, who's coming to town? The Sounders, the Seattle Sounders, announced Wednesday that they will be taking over part of the Long Acres campus. The owner of that campus is also planning around 3,000 units of multifamily housing on the property. So that is really great to see because, you know, those smaller housing units are something that we are definitely lacking in. University of Washington also purchased some or is leasing some office space in the Renton area. And Vulcan Real Estate said it's going to start building a 385 unit apartment project, and Blue Origin leased nearly 100,000 square feet in the Lind Avenue building. So there's a whole bunch of people moving to town, and the multifamily development booms as part of this resurgence of business and development in the Renton area. Going to bring a lot of workers, and we need a place to put those workers. So multifamily developments are coming. The Kennydale Landing project is around 650 residential units going up. There's 1,200 units planned for the former Fry's location. So all of those empty buildings that have been kind of sitting around are either going to retail or multifamily development. There are a ton of residential units in the works in Renton, and there's a lot of things fueling this. With Blue Origin headquartered in Kent, that's part of it, but there is a lot of other businesses coming to Kent, Renton area. This is really, really great to see for our region. And if you own a home in the area, this can only be good for home values. We're also expected to attract more medical office space. UW has already leased out some units in Renton. So that is something that is exciting to see. The UW building that they rented out had been vacant for a little while. So it's nice to see things going into that area. And this is kind of like a renaissance in Renton. We're not going to be able to help ourselves in terms of the overflow of what's going on in Bellevue, says the mayor. Scheduled to open in 2026, the Bellevue to Burien Stride line will run right through Renton. I don't know if you've seen where that old Denny's used to be, the construction there, but that is part of the new transit system coming along the side of 405 there. And really, this is just super great to see for Renton, for Kent, for the general area. We have a vital business district now. Like there's a lot of people or a lot of companies going in and renting a lot of office space. It's a lot cheaper to rent in Renton than in Bellevue or Seattle. So this is kind of Renton and Kent are kind of the, I guess, a new business hub of our region. As for Kent, the sprawling 80s apartment era property sells in Kent for $149 million. Just wanted to touch on this briefly. This $149 million sale actually sold, had some renovations done, but it sold in 2017 for $40.5 million. So that from 2017 to 2022, from 40.5 million to 145 million. That's insane. This is our values of property in the area, granted that they did do some renovations, but property values in our area are going nuts. And rents, that's translating to rents too, because if housing prices are going up, then rent is probably going to go up. The median rent for a 1-bedroom apartment is up 14.4% over a year ago to $1,470. Rents climbed the most, nearly 23% in Seattle to $1,650. So seeing rents climb again in Seattle is definitely a change from the last couple of years as people tended to gravitate away from Seattle. Now the Seattle rents are climbing faster than the outer areas. And I talked about this last week, that this was a bill that was coming up, but the Washington bill allowing duplexes, fourplexes fails to pass key deadline. There was a bill that was proposed that was going to basically say all these single family homes, all these areas zoned for single family, you can build a duplex there, and so on. If there's duplexes allowed, you can build a quadplex. There's a lot of details in this bill, but it was known as the missing middle bill, because really we have some rentals and support available for a lot of the lower income people, and obviously the wealthy are doing well, but there's this missing middle. There's not very much middle level housing, just low income and high income housing. So this was trying to compensate for that and have more middle level housing available, but it did not pass. Met resistance from local governments who argued they should be able to set zoning rules without state mandates. And supporters of the bill argued control that had failed, or basically, you guys are not doing your job. There's too many people that are living below the poverty line. We don't have this there's this missing middle of people trying to get a level up, but basically we don't have a lot of affordable condos and cottages and those smaller types. There's a lot of people that would really like to see that type of unit available, but did not pass this round. I think we'll see some form of this bill come through again, just probably worded a bit differently. So hopefully it'll pass. King County will close the rental assistance program to new applicants as the money dries up. So if you are a tenant that needs financial assistance and have been putting off applying for the assistance program that's out there, hesitate no longer. February 28th is the last day you can possibly apply, because they've already had more applications than they can fund. So right now they think they're going to be 7,000 to 8,000 tenants that won't get the funding because it won't be available. But there are more funding bills being worked and trying to make sure that everybody gets what they need. Landlords and tenants have been struggling, so hopefully we get something passed soon. But in 2020, the county provided assistance to 9,000 households. The second iteration of that bill covered nearly 46,000 households, but only 17,400 have received the assistance from that second round. So there's a lot of backlog on this. If you're planning on applying, do it today. Don't wait any longer. Get going. And lastly, our median net worth of Seattle area homeowners neared $1 million in 2021. We've all heard throughout the pandemic that the wealthiest Americans have gotten wealthier. The gap has widened, but the 400 wealthiest Americans increased their net worth by 40%. But it's not just the ultra wealthy who made out well. Homeowners did too. The median net worth of homeowners here jumped by more than 160,000 from 2019 to 2021. So our average median net worth of homeowners in the Seattle metro area is $987,000. It's not quite playing out the same for renters, but the purple here is owner-occupied households and the yellow is renter-occupied households. So you can see that the purple line with homeowners far outpaces the yellow line in the vast majority of categories. This is a trend I don't expect to see slow down. So if you are wanting to grow your wealth and set yourself up for a little bit better future, homeownership is one of the best alleyways to do that. Seattle area homeowners rank among the wealthiest in the nation. The median net worth of a renter is 114,000. So generally renters tend to be on average a little bit younger, may not have as much savings and investment, but 114,000 to nearly $1 million, that is a pretty big equity gap. And that brings us to our market stat minute. We did pop up slightly in new listings and pendings, and our solds jumped up, but remember that is a month lagging. So you can see the big jump up here after the holiday season on pendings. And this is that line following that pending line. This is exactly what we'd expect to see this time of year, more listings coming on the market. And because of that, there's more stuff to satisfy the buyer demand. And if we look at specifically our little city market areas in South King County here, Renton, the new listings, and Kent new listings, both these areas did pop above where we are on pendings. This won't be true if we come back and look at this on like Tuesday next week, because all these new listings probably just hit the market and a lot of them will go pending over the weekend. But this is great to see that there is a lot more coming to the market for buyers. Auburn and Federal Way, we still have the pendings outpacing our new listings. So right now, maybe Kent and Renton has a little bit more to choose from than Auburn and Federal Way. And last week, our weekly average mortgage rate was at 3.69%. This week, we have reached a 3.92. So remember, this is kind of like a Monday to Monday comparison, but wow, we have reached the highest rates in nearly 3 years. If you didn't refinance on the home that you currently own in the last couple of years, you missed the boat. Sorry to say, but you know, those ultra low rates can only last so long. And with the inflation we're expecting to see, we're only expecting rates to go further up from here. They will go further up. And it's not something that's expected. It is known. The Fed will be raising rates for the bond in March, and interest rates will go up in anticipation of that and after that. So inflation is the highest it's been since 1982. That's really going to just push rates higher for a while. And we have seen this play out as far as people applying for mortgage applications, refinancing, or people who are applying for refinances. That fell 9% and down 54% from a year ago when rates were lower. So that is something we definitely expect to see, is people refinancing when it's the super lowest and less when it goes up again. A purchase index slipped by 1%. But if we bring it to today's rates for Mortgage News Daily, we are at 4.08% for the 30-year fix. So we have broken that 4%. That happened rapidly, because really, like, what, a month and a half ago, we were at just over 2. And that really affects your purchasing power. If you are a buyer or somebody who wants to sell and buy a new home and leverage your equity, the sooner the better. With interest rates headed up, each increase of 1% on your interest rates decreases your purchasing power by 10 to 12%. So if you had about $3,000 a month for your payment, at 3.25%, you can get this nice new luxury home sold at $681,875. If the rates go up just 1%, you are down to a purchase price of $590. You're looking at this older home that probably needs a little more work, but this just shows the difference that 1% can make with that same monthly payment. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out. I would love to have a conversation with you about the market in your area, or if you're thinking about moving to another area, we can have a conversation about that as well. If you would like a complimentary valuation of your home, please feel free to reach out. I have a bunch that I've sent out recently. I'm just so excited to share people's new home values with them. So if you are curious about the value of your home, shoot me an email, text, call, DM. I do it all. And I would love to have a conversation with you and get a little bit of an updated market analysis for your home. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back here next Friday at 3 p.m. with your South King County real estate news. Until then, Sarah Eggleston signing off. Have a fantastic week.